Do you guys think 9/11 was an inside job, or do you think it was the Jews? Found out the Jews have been kicked out of 109 countries. That's a lie. At a certain point, you got to ask yourself, why? Was Hitler really rounding them up just because they're mildly annoying and cheap? 109 countries, that's like a woman telling you that all of her ex-boyfriends beat her. At a certain point, you got to ask yourself, maybe she was a Jew.
While Leonarda Jonie's satirical take on the expulsion of Jewish people from various countries could be interpreted as a darkly comedic commentary on the long history of conflict and displacement in the Middle East, this comedian comically suggests a pretext for military action and playfully proves U.S. orchestration with a ridiculous claim about Pentagon pizza sales, ultimately critiquing power dynamics with sharp wit.
You guys ready for nuclear summer? Turns out Netanyahu was right this whole time. He was like, Iran's gonna bomb us. And look at what's happening. He's like, Iran's gonna bomb us. And we're like, what are you talking about? He's like, Iran's gonna bomb us. We're like, no, come on. He's like, Iran's gonna bomb us. And then all he had to do was bomb them first. Preemptive self-defense. People are saying, like, wait a second, if Iran was gonna bomb you, why would you bomb them first? That's not self-defense, that's an attack. Yes, if time moves forward. That's the paradigm that you're operating in. Israel attacked Iran last Thursday. They called it Operation Rising Lion. I think a better name would be Operation Aggressive Pussy. But Operation Rising Lion, that's what Scar called it when he killed Mufasa in The Lion King. You're like, no, Sammy, he pushed Mufasa off a cliff. That was Falling Lion. Okay. If time was in reverse. Okay. Of course, Israel kindly offered us an invitation to join in the war against Iran. But of course, the United States declined because we're too busy orchestrating the whole war in the first place. Yeah, if you want proof, this is a real thing, I saw it on the internet. The night Israel attacked Iran, there was a spike in pizza sales right next to the Pentagon. And apparently there's an app that tracks that, and they've measured that that happens every time some giant military operation happens that the United States claims not to be involved with. But apparently the Pentagon staff is pulling all-nighters, ordering from every pizza spot imaginable. Which kind of makes sense, right? Because the US government just wants a pizza of the Middle East, you know what I mean?
Sammy Obeid's stand-up bit offers a satirical take on the Israel-Iran conflict, using humor to question geopolitical narratives and U.S. involvement.
2003 has been an awesome year so far. We're going to get those weapons of mass destruction. I promise you. We're going to get them. I'm just waiting for Colin Powell to pop out and be like, I love how you can see who's Gen Z in this room. Like, who's Colin Powell? Isn't that the lower part of the digestive system? What a time. A time when Tucker Carlson is the voice of reason. I could have told you that if you put Tucker Carlson in a room with Ted Cruz, you're going to be agreeing with Tucker Carlson. You know what I mean? Like, Tucker Carlson's like, do you even know the population of Iran? And Ted Cruz is like, no, I don't. Here's where I give flowers to Tucker Carlson. He's an expert at gaslighting. Any other journalist could have just let that go and be like, I don't know it either, you know what I mean? But Tucker Carlson was like, you don't know the population of Iran? You would think if you want to talk about the country, you would know the population. You could see the stress building in Ted Cruz. He's like, I don't know what the population is. What is it? And Tucker Carlson's like, 92 million. Now, to be transparent, I didn't know their population was 92 million, but I'm also not trying to stage a coup, okay? Iran does not have nuclear weapons, because if they did, we would not be attacking them, okay? If they did, we'd be scared as shit right now. Iran has a nuclear program. Specifically, they're enriching uranium, which is an element on the periodic table, which most of our politicians also could not point out. I guarantee all of these politicians who are saying that Iran should not have uranium could not point uranium out on the periodic table. If you put Ted Cruz in front of the periodic table and you'd be like, point to which one is uranium, and then you have Tucker Carlson like, you don't know which one is uranium? And Ted Cruz is like, no, I don't know. And then Tucker Carlson's like, it's 92. Because it's 92! It's 92! It's 92! Is that not crazy? Iran has a population of 92 million. Uranium is the 92 on the periodic table? That's a conspiracy right there. 92. What happened in 92? Bill Clinton? I don't know. 1 + 1 is 2, 9/11, 9/11. What? I don't know. I'm just saying, chemistry's an inside job. You really got to be in the lab all day.
His comedy highlights a comedic irony where basic knowledge is absent among politicians and questionable connections are made to justify actions. A critique that remains relevant to various contemporary global conflicts. What do you think? Share your comments.
You see we just bombed Iran? Yeah. If you've been on it's an odd way. I know it's weird to learn that from me. Walter Cronkite, boy, like, dude, you fucking blew that shit up, dude. You fucking immediately says something funny. He tweeted out a whole thing about how we just bombed Iran, and he's like, but now is the time for peace. Crazy thing. It's insane way to do that, but also I relate to it because I remember when I was 8 fighting in the schoolyard, and you'd be like wrestling, and then you just kick the kid in the neck and be like, it's over, it's over. It doesn't count how it stops. Now it's done. I don't think Iran's gonna see it that way. I don't know. I'm not. We'll see. We'll see. Sorry, he said it's off now, though. He said, you can't. There's no takebacks. So it is over, and you have cooties. So you have cooties. You're brown cooties. You have. You can tell Trump doesn't drink. Given the fact he bombed Iran on a Saturday night, that's so crazy. That's so disrespectful to our people. We have to learn about this in a bar, dude. People are gonna be like, we bombed Tehran. What? We hit the nuclear sites. I have a boyfriend. And then we have to learn about this hungover? Huh? It's already bad for us. It's worse now? Oh, I got so bombed last night. You're not the only one. Boy, this is going to be funny till it's not.
While Joey Avery humorously critiques the casual and almost flippant way such significant news was delivered, comparing it to a childhood fight, this comedian satirically points out the irony of the U.S., the only country to have used nuclear weapons, leading the charge against their proliferation.
I don't know, there's a lot of problems in the world today, obviously, and but I'm thankful because one thing that isn't as big of a problem as I thought was going to be is nuclear war. Right when we were growing up, we thought that was how the world was going to end, and up until now, it's not true. Most countries have been pretty cool about it, actually, except for America. America was the only country to ever use nuclear weapons. We're the first, last, and only country to ever use nuclear weapons, and then we used them, and we killed a bunch of Japanese people, and then we were like, all right. That's enough. Everybody cut it out. And everybody was like, all right, you're the one that used it, psycho, but sure. And we're like, no, we should form an alliance. We should form an alliance to make sure this doesn't happen again. And everybody's like, yeah, all right, man, whatever you want to do. Just don't make any more of these, all right? And we were like, yeah, that's the thing. We're going to keep making them, though. We're going to make a lot more. And then some countries were like, yeah, I don't know about this, man. What if I don't want to be a part of this alliance? And then America was like, yeah, trust me, you're going to want to be a part of this alliance. You leave now, you're going to wish you were part of this alliance.
Milan Patel uses dark humor to critique the U.S.'s stance and actions on nuclear weapons, highlighting the apparent contradiction in advocating for non-proliferation while continuing to produce them. Meanwhile, this comedian offers a satirical look at perceived differences between Iran and America, often challenging stereotypes.
How different from Iran is America, really? For me, it's on TV. That's the main difference. Then with Baywatch Iran, we'd be like, well, I guess there's freedom there too, People think Iran's backward because there's arranged marriage in Iran, right? But there's arranged marriage in America too. It's just called Married at First Sight. It's the same concept, different execution. And speaking of executions, people think Iran's backward because they have capital punishment. And it's like, well, America's got capital punishment too. It's just that in America, they use the electric chair instead of rocks. And if you think about it, Iran can't use the electric chair. They're an oil-rich country. They can't promote an alternative energy source. And rocks are actually more sustainable. They are. They are more sustainable. They're reusable, they're natural, they're organic. You can use them again. Think about it. There's another infidel next week. I'll get my trusty stoning rod. Here we go. Get him, Dwayne. Thank you for the one person, Roy, again. fucking shocker who understood Dwayne as the funniest thing you can call a rock. That is the best possible rock name out there. You're fucking welcome. They enjoyed the footnote. These guys still don't like it. I'm actually a stone cold Steve Austin guy, unfortunately. But that does happen. Rocks are actually more sustainable. How weird is it to think about that? They are. They're better for the environment. How much social progress are we willing to give up to save this planet? Start using rocks in execution, saves on electricity. Saudi Arabia bans women from driving, which does cut CO2 emissions. That's a fact. Encourages public transport use. Ban gay marriage again, save on glitter. I'm just saying, are these guys fundamentalists or environmentalists? I'm not sure. What's their ultimate goal?
While Daniel Muggleton uses irony and absurdity to provoke thought and highlight the complexities of both cultures, this comedian talks about why the Holy Land is a scam.
Jerusalem is perhaps the most fought-over city in human history. Also, it's it's hot as hell, hyper-conservative, there's nothing to do after 6 p.m. Generations have fought and died for control of what is essentially Oklahoma City. Jerusalem is home to several holy sites. What they have in common is they're all boring and stupid. You guys know about the Wailing Wall? The Western Wall, to which thousands of the world's Jewish faithful flock to? It's a retaining wall, okay? It's a bit of civil engineering below where a temple used to be. They're making a pilgrimage to part of a highway overpass. You have Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is Islam's third holiest site, which sounds impressive until you ask, what is Islam's fourth holiest site? And realize there is not one. Dudes have been blowing themselves up over Islam's least holy site.
Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think in the comments.